Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic BARCLAY, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. In some episodes, I'll have guests available to give you even more tips, but in others, the floor is yours. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic BARCLAY. Today, Mitchell Creasey rejoined us. Welcome back, Mitch.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here again.
And we're excited to have you. Now tell me, how did you get the label, the President's Coach?
Oh my goodness. I love that question. So my first ever clients, when we started working together, they weren't middle of the company, but they weren't necessarily the top of the company. And after a certain amount of time, they got promoted to the president of the company. So kind of in and around that company and just kind of seeing the trajectory of it, I just kind of became, as the president's coach. Who's that guy? Oh, that's the president's coach. Okay, great. I'm the president's coach. And since then, I've had a lot of other clients, again, not necessarily even looking for that type of promotion, go from where they are to holding the reins of the entire company. So it's been pretty cool.
That is cool. Now, look, in our last episode, we kind of talked about a lot. We talked about, obviously, health, wealth and weight loss, as we do. But you mentioned a whole lot of stuff about meeting yourself where you are, remembering what you want, and kind of not putting that veil up, even when it comes to your weight, like really seeing what matters to you. Where do you see that people fall into these traps of maybe trying to be something for someone else or trying to live to an image? What kind of pitfalls are most common with your clients?
So many different ways we could take that. Such a good question. To be honest, unconsciously, I think most people, before they begin doing any inner work, are really still trying to address their parents. And I say address because it's not always please their parents. Sometimes we're looking to give them a big fuck you in any way, shape, or form. So a lot of our actions, a lot of our behaviors, our thoughts, our feelings, the way we interact with others are really coming from, I love that you use the word veil, are really us acting behind the veil as if we were speaking to mom or dad, or we were looking for attention from mom or dad, or whoever the caretaker was. And sometimes it's not mom and dad. Sometimes it's someone who's close to the family, whatever it may be. But when we have issues at work or with our partners, our spouses, our kids, a lot of the time, well, not actually a lot of the time, I'm just going to go and say 100% of the time, very rarely are we upset about what we think we're upset about. A Course in Miracles says you are never upset for the reasons you think you are. And so usually what we've done when we are upset in any way, shape, or form, when we're putting on airs or we're trying to hold up an appearance, we're trying to do things to get things from other people, no matter how veiled in kindness they may be. Really what we are doing is trying to resolve the past. We have brought the past forward into the present because that's all we've known. So we're trying to make things more comfortable. The body's always going to try to get back to a state of homeostasis. It's always going to try to return to rest and relaxation. But for a lot of us, homeostasis or R&R isn't cocktails on the beach. It's actually a chaotic environment because that's what we're used to growing up. So the body's trying to solve for what it knows. And the mind is going, hold on, I'm not 12 anymore. Unconsciously is kind of what's going on. I'm not 12 anymore. I'm whatever. I know this is not a good thing. Like, it doesn't feel good. And I know there are much better options out there. but no matter what I try, I just can't get there. It's because the body, which is the unconscious mind, which does all of the legwork, is still trying to solve and get you back to what it still considers homeostasis. But anyway, I just feel like we're all trying until we start to dive in and do the inner work, regardless of what the discomfort may appear as. Usually, it's safe to say there's something from our past that we have not looked at or met ourselves where we are around that. And if we don't look at it, if we don't bring it to the light, it can't move on. I always use the analysis of like a crying child. Like when a child is crying and you pick them up and you just hold them and see them, they stop crying. And then you put them down and they move on their merry way. And that's really all we're looking for here, is that part of us inside, that pain inside from when we were little, just wants to be seen, just wants to be heard, it just wants to be felt. So when you put it center stage, when you put it in the spotlight, it feels seen, it feels heard, and then it's allowed to move on.
Exactly. And it's not really that you need to relive that thought, that memory, that space. You just need to acknowledge it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that point up. So a lot of us avoid going within because we think we're going to have to go back and relive the story. It's absolute horseshit. We don't want to really relive the story. The story gives us nothing. The story is all mental. It was all a perception or a misperception. We want to go into what's been stored in the body and move that energy. This is a feeling tone universe. It's not a thinking universe. It's the feeling tone that gets recognized. It's not the thought. So to spend time trying to make sense of the story is most of the time a waste of time. Instead, we want to go into the feeling in the body, feel it, see it, so we can move it, create new space that can support a new thought. That's how we start to move forward.
I love that. Now, what's something that you think maybe the listeners need to hear? Like, the world's gone a bit crazy. Whoever's listening to this today, next year, in the next 5 years, whatever, what is something that every day you wish people could hear, acknowledge, or feel?
There is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. We are in a culture, and I get it. It's a good word, and it's an available word that everyone understands. There is nothing to heal. You are not broken. There has simply been a misperception that you've held on to longer than need be. And the pain you feel is over this expiration date. Not because there's something wrong with you, not because you're broken. You're not broken. You are whole. You have always been whole, and you will forever be whole. The body and the mind are just not lining up right now. We are out of alignment. That's it. There's nothing to heal. You are not broken. There is nothing to heal. There is nothing wrong with you. If we all operated from the space of there is nothing wrong with you or me, think about how much bigger our steps would be, how much more powerful and confident our steps would be daily, and how much we would be willing to just, like I said in the last episode, in that Bruce Lee analogy, roll off the rock and just continue downstream to what we want. If it didn't have to be about us, if it didn't have to be about, what we experienced when we were 7, if it didn't have to be about, well, I'm this type of person, so this is the type of life I get to lead. No, fuck that noise. It's not true. We won't, over here, at least in my practice, we deal in universal truths, not individual truths, which is just perception. We deal in universal truths, meaning that it has to be true for every single being walking the planet. If we are truly one, then universal truth is the only thing that will do. And universal truth says that you are whole. You were born whole. You will forever be whole. It is simply the misperception we need to correct. That's what I would tell people.
And I'm going to back that up, because my team at Holistic Natural Health Australia, we treat with holism. The body is a whole. You can't treat something in isolation. You are not the cold. You are not the flu. You are not aches and pains. You're a body and a being and a soul that's experiencing something, but that's not you. So I totally agree with you are whole.
Love it. I couldn't agree more.
Now, Mitch, people can find you on Instagram at Coach Mitchell Creasey. What kind of stuff can they find on your Insta?
You're going to find a lot of little isolated sound bites from TV segments. You're going to find a lot of inspirational stuff. You're going to find a lot of essentially what we've just talked about today. Basically, a lot of content driven towards how to and the benefits of living in a calm state, living in a confident state, of living in a clear state, how to step out of people pleasing, how to step out of perfectionism, how to step out of self-doubt, and what it looks like in my personal experience doing that, my clients' experience doing that, and the potential of what it could look like for you to do the same.
Terrific. And I just wanted to reiterate to the listeners that people pleasers miss one important person, and that's themselves.
Woo! Magic, stop now. That's awesome. I agree 100%.
And that's our parting thought for this episode, your 191 of A Magical Life. We have more great guests coming up, lots of things. Of course, if there's something you want us to address, if there's a question that you have, pop on over to Facebook, A Magical Life Podcast. Ask that question, shoot us a message. We're here for you. Mitch, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a true pleasure.
And listeners, thank you for your time. Go forth and create your magical life. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review, and share this podcast. You can follow us on Facebook at A Magical Life Podcast or at Holistic Natural Health Australia. That's holistic with a W. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies, and more.